I'm a DevOps engineer. My journey to this position now has been it's been kind of rocky. I grew up in the village. In the village, we weren't speaking English. So by the time I came back to the United States, I barely knew how to speak English. I couldn't really read that well. You in class, sometimes when the teacher's making out read, you can't read, so you get laughed at. I feel like in this day and age, relationships are more important than anything. I made up my mind that, okay, I'm not gonna try to pursue anything else. To convince somebody that you're good for this job when you don't have the experience, that's the hardest part. People ask me, how can I get into this industry? Is it easy? I don't be lying to them. I say, no, it's not. Whatever it is that you do, I don't care about how many times that you feel disappointed, how many times you fail, just stick with it long enough. If you could just stick with it long enough and be able to deal with the rejection and the BS along the way, you will be fine. You could do well.
And we are live. Welcome back to another episode. I'm with my brother, Haji. What's up, bro?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm blessed and highly favored, baby. You know what I mean? It's a Friday, It's been a busy day today, but we
Yeah.
move, we here. We making things shake.
Man, we have to be thank God for this position. As you know, like the current climate, most people don't even have the opportunity to work. So this is like the first time probably in a very long time when I'm not complaining about work because I just know it's rough out there. So thank God, man. Thank
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I told one of my brothers the other day, I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm not complaining about work whatsoever. I'm like, I no longer say things like, tomorrow's Monday. Like I don't say that no more.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like
Yeah.
I used to say that a lot. I've heard people say that all the time. Well, one, thank God I don't have to go, I don't have to drive to an office. So that kind of cuts down some of
Right.
that, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
some of that, what do I call it?
Hmm.
Some of the I don't want to go to work on Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also like you said, bro, like this the climate right now for work, bro, is trash. It's terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you
Yeah.
have a job,
It's
bro, I'm like, yo, thank God. Thank God for your job, man. Keep it.
keep it, show up on time, do if you could do a little bit more than what you are paid for, I would highly recommend it because these are the time companies trying to save money. So whoever they feel like is not providing enough value, it is so easy for them to like cut you with with the whole thing with AI too. They could just easily replace you.
Yeah.
So this is right now, if you are busy at work, is a good problem to have.
Nah, facts.
Is
Facts.
a good is a good problem to have. You understand what I'm saying? Not to
Yeah.
say be a lapdog, let people disrespect you, walk all over you, and things like that. But in terms of you know compared to what people are going through right now, I don't know if you came across this article on LinkedIn. This young lady, she was hired in Amazon like 90 days ago, and she got laid off. So yeah, she got hired. I was reading the article. She wrote this lengthy post describing what she had to go through the hiring process. How did the like she attained the job and the things that she was doing day to day, and then boom, they just when Amazon had that big layoff, she was part of it, and it's very unfortunate.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that particular story, but I've heard a
Uh,
lot of stories like that, bro.
yeah.
I think it was a couple of years ago, man. My wife, she
Hmm.
follows. I think she was telling me about this. That somebody took a job. They were out of state, and
Right.
like, bro, the person packed up everything. You know what I mean? Packed up everything, bought flight tickets, everything, bro. And
Oh my
as
goodness.
soon as like that same day that person was supposed to, I think the person sold their house too, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And bro, as soon like the day that they were supposed to leave, bro, travel, got a call and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
the job is no more. And I'm like, what
Oh.
is going on?
It's sad because people make decisions like this. I mean, you don't even understand how much you impacted somebody's life. They gave up their job for this. They leave family and friends behind to move, and then boom, you just, oh yeah, man. Anyone who has a job right now, we should all be thanking God. It's a blessing
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before we start the episode, like to anybody who has lost their jobs, or their
Yeah.
job, like yo, I am praying for y'all, hoping y'all like the best, honestly. Because it's tough,
Yeah.
yo.
Same
It's
thing.
tough. It's tough. My wife, I can share this now because she has shared it. My wife has lost
Yeah.
her job also. You know what I mean? And so right now it's just
Hmm.
me. And like, man, like having that second income, that another income, it's amazing, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
God that, at least I'm working as well. You know what I mean? But there are some
Mhm.
people who like that's it. There's no income coming in. You know what I mean? And so,
There's no
um,
yeah.
yeah, man. So whoever, people who've lost their jobs, like I'm praying for y'all, literally. Um, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. But I
Yeah.
hope this episode would encourage you some way, somehow to keep on going. Because as you guys know, like this
Mhm.
podcast, yo, it's to encourage people, it's to uplift people, it's to let
Yeah.
people know that like, yo, if I've done it, if you've done it, if other people have done it, you can do it too. It's hard, it's tough, and I feel
Mhm.
y'all. But we can't I will say this, like we can't stop. We're not about to stop just because
Yeah.
it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Oh no, no,
yeah,
you cannot stop. Regardless of like the obstacle or whatever, you can't. Sometimes you can't control the outcome. You only can control your inputs.
yeah,
Yes, the
yeah,
market is crazy. It's tough. Interviewers and whatever it is that they're doing in the vaccine, you can't control it. That's out of your control. But what you can control, like the amount of applications that you submit, the reference that you talk to, the outreach that you do, those are stuff that you can control, and more importantly, and just keep praying, keep
yeah,
praying. Those are things
yeah,
that you can control, and you know, the outcome doesn't that's on the hands of God. There's nothing
yeah,
really you can do about that. You just have to have faith.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that's easier said than done, but if somebody who's been in that situation before, that was my only way out. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You've been laid off before from
Oh
like
yeah.
a tech position?
Yeah. I've been laid off before, but it wasn't as bad. I had a cushion because when I got laid off at the time, I was smart enough. Like I was living below my means. That means I was saving a lot of money at the time. So when I got laid off, it sucked because I'm not working. I got laid off, but
Mm,
at the same time, I wasn't like financially. I wasn't panicking. It was not like I couldn't cover my bills and
mm.
things like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Dope, man. Dope. Hey, yo, let's dissect your journey, bro. One thing
Yeah.
I do want to say here, bro, because I always love to give people their flowers. Like if y'all know me, you guys already know this. Um,
Hmm.
so like you reached out to me, bro, via TikTok. We've been following each
Yeah,
other,
TikTok.
on TikTok here and there, And
Yeah.
you reached out to me, you're
Yeah.
like, yo, like, I love your podcast. I've been following for some time, and I feel like,
Hmm.
you gave me like a spill of what you do, what you've been doing, and you're like, yo,
Yeah.
I feel like, my story will resonate with your audience, and give value and give
Yeah.
gems. And so,
Hmm.
I get a lot of DMs like that, but for some reason, like I checked you out and I was like, yo, like I think you legit. So we had the call, man, and it was a great call, bro. Like we had the prep
Yeah.
call, and I was just blown away. You know what I mean? And I was like, wait a second, like say less, bro. Let's wait until we get this episode because people need to hear your story, bro. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
before we get to your story,
Appreciate it.
bro, thanks for hitting me up, bro, because
Mm.
it is work to try to find people, try to find solid people. You know what I mean? And so when people come
Yeah.
to me and they are solid, bro, like you've cut down
Yeah.
my work, and thank you, thank you for
Nah,
that. You know
thank
what I
you.
mean?
Thank you. Nah, I
So
appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I've
dissect your
been
story. Yeah, go for
yeah,
it. Go for it,
yeah.
bro.
No, no, I was gonna say first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for your response and then taking the opportunity, you know. And I'm not afraid to give people their flowers when they're doing something good, whether I know them or not. Especially like young professionals, our backgrounds are kind of similar in terms of heritage. There was little similarities that I saw, and
Yeah,
I saw what you was doing. I reached out and then I showed that I like what you're doing and so forth. And I do this across the board with many people. This is a lot of the time. This is in the relationships that I have with people.
yeah,
And honestly, I feel like in this day and age, relationships are more important than anything in terms of whether that's not saying to build relationship only when you could benefit, but in terms of like just being a kind and good person, just just having some kind of value or providing value, just being a good person overall.
Mm.
In my career so far, that's been working for me like wonders.
Yeah.
Just being good people. If I see someone doing a great job, I'm not afraid to send them a message of, hey, I like what you're doing, with no intention behind it. Because you don't know, just being kind to people, just being nice, just showing love, showing support, showing gratitude. You just never know where it will take you.
Mm.
And that has always been my that's I don't know, I didn't strategically think about this. It just like I thought it was a good thing to do. I think that's what you were doing. Even in professional settings, sometimes a team may solve a complex problem or issue, or they present some kind of great things. When afterward, I would send them a team message and tell them, hey, it was great. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
those things like that. I know how it feels when someone gave me those kind of compliment. So I always try to give people their flowers the same way. And those little things, um, it seems kind of cheesy and whatnot, but they're really really helpful because people always gonna remember. Well, not as people, but most people will remember the good thing that you said or you did for them. You
Mm.
know.
Mm.
So yeah,
I love it, bro. I love it. On that
yeah,
note, y'all go shoot your shot. Go shoot your shot at whoever. You know what I mean? And let
yeah,
whoever is influencing you, doing a good job,
yeah.
give them their flowers, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just do it through LinkedIn or
Yeah.
Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? If you're just doing it with good intention, you don't have no intention behind it. You're not trying to get anything out of them.
Mm.
You don't have nothing to lose but everything to gain. And if
Yeah.
they don't respond, so what? The world is not gonna end. You just move on with your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Love it, bro.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, bro, let's get into your journey, bro. Give the people like a quick spiel of who you are, bro. Your background, what you do right now, just a quick overview, and then we can like dissect your
Yeah.
journey even more.
Sure, sure. So to make, I'm gonna try not to go on a long rant about this, but right now I'm a DevOps engineer. I work for like a mid-sized telecom company here in New Jersey. So my journey to this position now has been kind of rocky, right? So with me, as you could probably tell in my accent, I have an accent. It will pop out as we talking. It will pop out as we talking. But yeah, I was born in the state just like most people. My family is from Gambia in West Africa. We're from the Soninke tribe. So I started off as a I was born here, but my dad sent me back when I was about 7. He sent me back, and so my grandmother essentially raised me. I was there for about almost a decade. I was there like 9.5 years. I didn't come back to the States until I was about 15 or 16. So, coming back to the States, it was just basically like it's almost like a new culture shock because I left here with 7. I was sent back home. I wasn't living in the city. I grew up in the village. So in the village, we weren't speaking English. We speaking the dialect over there. So by the time I came back to the United States, I I barely knew how to speak English. I couldn't really read that well. I know right. So I mean, I was basically put in a school, and it wasn't really like I was put in like an alternative school, what they call it. This is where you send some of the bad kids at. But so when I was there, can you imagine of somebody who's an African kid? At the time, I was African. We didn't really have. It was
Hey, it
rough.
wasn't cool. It wasn't cool being
It
African,
was.
man. Like it
It
was
was
not.
not. Yeah. It was not cool being African. So you in class. Sometime when the teacher's making you read, you can't read, so you get laughed at. That's more. So all of that's you get laughed at when you speak with an accent, people mocking you and so on and so forth. So all of that stuff piling on top of each other, like it's almost kind of like you grew up being very insecure being an African.
Mm,
So yeah, I was for that reason they put me like 2 grades back. So that was another thing I had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you stay back, things like that. So it was just a lot. But I never. I guess young age, you feel it, but at the same time, it's like whatever. It is what it is. Like it's nothing that I can do. But yeah, so I went through that through high school. I mean, graduate high school, of course. I think that's the bare minimum. And then I went to school. I went to at first I went to school up in New Hampshire, but I ended up transferring back to school in New Jersey, William Patterson University. So I graduated over there with my undergrads, and my at the time, I really wanted to work as an FBI agent. That was really my passion. I really wanted to join the feds. I used to go to all the FBI workshops and things like that in New York, in NYU specifically. So I used to go through all that, as time goes on, and I end up getting like my first professional job with the OPM, Office of Personnel Management, as a background investigator. At the beginning, it kind of it kind of go in with what I studied for. I did it for a little while and I couldn't stand the job. It was one of those things I thought I would be happy.
Mm.
I did it for a little while. I couldn't stand it, at the time. So basically, I started thinking like, okay, did I went to school for 4 years and wasted my time? And I was just very in a very confusing state. So to make the long story short, at the time I still was going around to figure out what I wanted to do next. I'm just exploring different avenues, different industries. But at the time, the tech industry is like many people that I know, young professionals around my age, that were killing it. Some of these were cybersecurity guys. They were killing it. And I remember I came so I was doing that. I started like watching YouTube videos to become a cybersecurity analyst. I didn't even know where to start.
Mm.
Is I'm watching YouTube videos. I said, okay, I don't even know where to start. So that it got overwhelming for me real quick, and I
Mm.
stopped and I started learning software development.
Mm.
I started watching YouTube videos, how to code and things like that. And that process was another one. I said, okay, I'm not okay. After I learned the basic, I hit basically the plateau. Like, okay, what do I do next? Do I create new projects? How do I get a job in this?
Mm.
No one tells you, with coding and these things, you don't just learn it within 6 months and somebody's going to give you a job. It does not go like that. It's almost like you have to have some level of competency, and I didn't have that at that time. So I keep on thinking, my head at that time was, oh, this is too difficult for me, and then I'm not smart enough to do it. I
Mm.
wasn't thinking that, no, it takes time. You have to practice, learn, and things like that. So I throw that out of the window. So I'm at this point, I don't know what to do.
Mm.
And then I remember I went to this meetup in New York. It was just a meetup with tech meetup and things like that. Anyone could go. You don't have to be a tech professional or anything like that. So I
Mm.
went there, and it's just networking, talking with people, and I met this guy. His Mike. He's a Nigerian. We're still friends to today. So we just started talking. I'm giving him my background. He telling me, yeah. He said, yeah, I work as a DevOps engineer. He told me he went to school in NJIT, which is the New Jersey Technical Institute, and here in New Jersey. If you mention NJIT here in New Jersey, everybody will know about it.
Mm.
You know. So he told me, yeah, that's what he do. He's a DevOps engineer, so on and so forth. So we talked. We took each other information. Come to find out, he lived only like 20 minutes away from me. So yeah, we started communicating like that, and then we end up. He asked me if I want to grab some coffee sometime. I said, yeah, sure.
Mm.
So that's how our relationship started. We just started talking, and I started telling him what my career aspirations are and what am I doing. And then he said, hey, how about you look into something called DevOps? I never heard of the terms before.
Mm.
I never heard of that term before. And I said, hey, what is that exactly? And he tried to explain it to me. Of course, I didn't understand. So I started doing my own Google search
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started doing my Google search. I went down a rabbit hole, watching YouTube videos about it. And then, okay, after I got the basic understand what the profession actually is, what do they do? Okay, so now I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to look into how do you become one, you know, how do you become, what skill that you need to acquire? Because at that time, I already know to work in the industry, you don't technically need like a CS degree. I kind of already know that. I said, okay, that's fine. So what skills do I need, or what certifications do I need to be able to do this? With him being a good friend at the time, he had something. He had it was a learning platform called Linux Academy. They're no longer out there because they've been bought out by Cloud Guru. But he had a yearly subscription. He gave me his login and password. He said, "Yeah, they have a career path that you can follow to learn all of these skills that you need. You know, they mean that you can learn tools like you can learn things like containers, tools like let's say like Ansible, Jenkins, you know, the CI/CD toolings, you know, even like cloud security, learning AWS, Linux fundamentals, you know, Bash scripting, and so on and so forth. So it basically give you a real path, step by step, what to do. And I said, okay. So at the time, I was in a desperate situation. I really, I didn't like where my career was looking, and to make, and I was also broke. I need to do something. You know, I wasn't dead broke, but I was broke. You already know that feeling. It's not.
Nah,
So
I know all too well, bro.
man, listen. So I was just doing that. I said, okay. For some reason, because I tried so many things before then, I have not stick with one of them. None of them worked that I feel like worked for me. With this one, I have to burn all of my bridges and go for this and go all in. So that's basically what I did. I made up my mind that okay, I'm not gonna try to pursue anything else.
Yeah.
With this one, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna go all in, sink or swim.
Yeah,
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So at the time, that's what I basically did. It was just basically learning, developing these skills, and that it wasn't just learning and reading about this information. I was actually working, doing hands-on projects, you know, and they'll actually keep on a track of the projects that I was working on, just summarizing things that I'm working on, so I could remember them. You know, hopefully in the future I could put it on a resume. So I kept doing that. And along the way, you know, after about like 8 to 9 months in it, I feel comfortable already. Like, okay, I could do some basic level tasks because I've done enough project. I understand the concept. I understand the mindset. Because to me, DevOps is more like a method more than the skills. You know, that as I was learning this is what I became to understand. Okay, you can learn the tools and the skills, but if you have to have the logical concept and the method on how things work. Basically, you have to have an automation mindset. How can we automate things? For example, if we need to scan a code base do a security scan on a code base, okay, of course I could do this manually, but how can I automate this process to make life easier for my developers?
Yeah.
So I started thinking in that mind frame. It opened up doors for me. I said, okay. So that's the mindset that I kept doing it. Then I started putting like my resume together slowly by slowly, and that I feel like that was the hardest part. To convince somebody that you're good for this job when you don't have the experience, that's the hardest part. When people ask me, yo, how can I get into this industry? Is it easy? I don't be lying to them. I say, no, it's not. But if you could just stick with it long enough and be able to deal with the rejection and the BS along the way, you will be fine. You could do well. So that's what I did. I started, at the time, the job market was like flooded wanting for DevOps engineers. Mind you, I was a guy with no background experience in this particular field.
Yeah.
But I fixed my LinkedIn up a little bit, and I think when you leave it open as job seeker, recruiters were just hitting me up nonstop. You know, I was taking these interviews, but I was bombing like 90% of them. I was bombing 90% of them. Sometimes they'll ask me stuff that I have no clue about, and it gets so embarrassing. I say, oh my goodness. That kept happening. You started feeling that doubt. But man, I kept on. When they ask me something that I don't remember, that I don't know, or I can't explain it well, I'll just write them down. I keep a list of that. Some of those things I will go back and try to learn about them. I kept doing that. I kept doing that. I kept doing that along the way, you know, and I got my until I got my first offer,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember
Yeah.
I had I have two offers in the same week,
Mm.
you know. So that lets me that around that lets me know that, whatever it is that you do, I don't care about how many times did you feel disappointed, how many times you felt, just stick with it long enough. And I
Yeah.
think I think that's, yeah, if you could just stick with it, regardless of what, you're gonna be disappointed, you're gonna be hurt, you're gonna start having those doubt feelings, but just stick with it and keep stacking these skills and refine your skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's pick one thing I would say, pick one source of learning material and learn from that. And if you stuck, and at the time, a couple of years ago, there was no AI. So some of these things you have to learn with what you got. You either find it through Google, YouTube, or you ask questions. But
Yeah.
nowadays, I feel like with AI, you can accelerate your learning so fast, so quick.
Yeah.
Even if it's a concept or something that you don't understand, you literally could ask an AI agent, an AI chat to explain it to you where you could understand the concept. So that's what I. But it was not a easy journey. I
Of
think
course.
for
Of
me,
course.
the interviewing process was the toughest one for me. You know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
someone, when I speak, I stutter sometimes, things like that. Um, and sometimes when you don't have the professional experience in these areas,
Mm.
you don't want to feel like you're faking it, or you're
Yeah.
lying
Yeah.
about something. So those were the challenging part for me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't until like I just got comfortable speaking about things that I know and having confidence on things that I learn and
Hmm.
things that I don't know. I would just say simply, no, I don't learn yet, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm open to learn,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, the learning. Just this one more thing. The
Mhm.
learning
Yeah.
part,
Go for it. Hmm.
yeah, the learning part. It's just it's just to be focused.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
that one on my because at the time I remember I would work an overnight job. I get off in the morning at 7. I get some sleep to like 2:30 p.m.
Mm.
Then I get up, get some get ready, pray, and then the next 2-3 hours again, I would just dedicate it out onto learning. I would literally leave my
Mm.
phone in the car because I used to go to the local library to study. I'll leave my phone in the car so I could be distracted. I was just locked in for at that time. I wasn't even on Instagram or no social media at all. So at the time, I just was committed and locked in like this. I have to do this. I have to get this done.
Mm.
And I don't know. Maybe this was. I hope I don't sound blasphemous. I don't know if God was talking to me, but it was just something inside of me. Like, no, I think this is it. I could get this done. So
Mm.
I just stuck with it, regardless of how
Mm.
many times I came up short and whatever. I just stuck with it. I just stuck
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happened with me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it, bro. I love it, man. Like just seeing a young boy who was born here, grew up, got shipped back to Gambia, came back here. You could barely speak English. People are
Yeah.
laughing at you. You could barely write all that stuff, right? And then to see where you are now,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool, bro. But
Yeah.
I want to take it back, bro, and just dissect your journey, like from the jump. You know what I mean? Gambia, right? How was
Yeah.
Gambia, bro? Like, did you enjoy it? Did you have fun? Like, how was that, bro?
Honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like I didn't have a horror story growing up there. Yes, of course the environment was different, but I think that helped because I went there when I was very, very young. I was 7 years old. I was basically first grade. I didn't know any better. At the time, I'm there with all of my cousins, you know, all of my cousins. My grandfather was alive at the time. My grandmother was alive, So it's just you grow up in a compound
Yeah.
with other family members. You guys literally see each other every single day. Every day I wake up, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't, Of course, we grew up there. It was at the time it was no electricity at the
Mm.
time. Even to this day, electricity is a problem in the village.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
comes and go. But at the time, I remember when we first had our solars. You know, that's you know the water you drinking out of a well and a tap water. So the of course you can't compare it to how it is over here. But
Yeah.
at the time, the life at the time, it was no television. Basically, television. We have to go to somebody else compound to watch movies, and you had to pay to watch it, right?
Mm, yeah.
You had to pay one at the time. You had to pay $1 or $2. What they used to have, this was so hilarious. So when we are in front of the compound, right? Let's say they're having a Fast and Furious movie, for example. What they'll do, at the time back then they had the DVDs and the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah. Yeah.
DVDs.
Yeah.
They'll have the cover in front of the compound, meaning that tonight we'll be showing this movie. So at the time, I don't know. This is why I think action movie stars are bigger than anybody anywhere they go, because people, we don't have to speak the English, the language, but the
Yeah.
violence and the action, people like seeing that. Yeah. So if you go to some places, I was arguing with somebody with this. I said, listen, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I hope I'm saying the name right. Arnold might be more famous around the world than Denzel Washington. But in
Mm,
America, you can't. America, of course, we think Denzel is the greatest actor.
of course.
But anywhere like Sylvester Stallone and those guys, people will know them before they will know
Oh yeah.
Denzel Washington, because I mean, action and crime. People that's excite people. I don't have to know what you're speaking, but it just I'm
Just
following
give
the
me just
storyline.
just give me the action. Just give me the action.
Just give me the action. So that's how we watch TV. You
Yeah.
growing up in
Yeah.
the village, you sharing like a queen size bed with three of your cousins and things like
Yeah.
that. People
Yeah.
hear these stories, they're thinking that you exaggerating. That
Yeah.
no, actually,
Yeah.
people that grew up in those, but the condition wasn't really so horrific.
Yeah. But I
I know
think
people think, yeah.
go for it, bro. Go for it. Go for it.
No, I was saying that I know automatically when you about how lifestyle is in villages, especially like in Africa or anywhere else, people think that you grew up in when you grow up in a village is just it just the worst horrific condition. People are starving
Mm,
on things like that. It was not like that. I grew up in a very conservative like community where
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
very we're Muslims and things like that. So it was, of course, we had our challenges growing up. You say, yes, so many things that I could point out the negative part. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Do I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
horror stories? Yes. Do do some things going on that are not right? Yeah. But
Yeah.
so does everywhere
That's
else.
everywhere. That's everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think us we have to work on, as time goes on. We have to work on like correcting people. Hey, because people love to hang on to that idea of, how I grew up, this how we did it.
Mm,
Just because you growing up generations before you did it the same way, that doesn't mean it's right.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we have to do the work to change that narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And I think I spent some time in Africa myself. So if you guys, you know
Mm.
me, you guys should know
Oh,
that, I'm from Ghana,
yeah.
West Africa, you know what I mean? And so, obviously I was born
Yeah.
in DC, born and raised in the
Okay.
DMV area, been, around this area like basically most of my life, but I've
Mhm.
traveled a bit, but I was, I went back to home for about like 2 years or so for school, and like
Yeah.
you're saying, bro, like people think about the village as if it's some kind of like, oh my goodness, I would never survive
Yeah.
there, right? But I
Yeah.
but I think there is some good things that comes from there, bro. Like you're saying, like
Absolutely.
there's community, right? You guys are all in like one
Oh yeah.
compound, like y'all are sleeping
Yeah.
on the same bed. There's a sense
Yeah.
of community back home in
Yeah.
not just Gambia, not just Ghana, in Africa, bro. There's a sense of community,
Yeah.
man. And I think
Yeah.
that um that's something that like when you grow up with, bro, like it never leaves you.
It never
That
leaves you.
longing for community, right? And even as an adult, man, like people who are in the States or who are not from Africa, people want community, man. And I
Yeah.
genuinely think that Africans have like one of the best like community
Yeah.
vibes. Like it takes a village. Like I don't have to know who you are. Like I see you. Like you need some food. All right, bet, cool. Let's all eat together. You know what I mean? I think it's a cool thing, man. So
Absolutely.
like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Not what you're saying is 100% true. I have a saying
yeah,
that you cannot defeat human nature. We're living in a time when people glorify isolation and things like that. I'm not with that. Yes, I agree with being alone sometimes. but just completely isolating yourself from community and people, that is very dangerous.
Of
This is why
course.
we have the lonely crisis that we have right now.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people are joining running clubs. I say, yeah, it's a form of community people are missing. There's a reason why. This is why I don't knock it. People say, oh, it looks so performative. I think it's a great idea. That's what people have to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand this? You have some form people do it into churches, but growing up, yo, we eat breakfast together in the village. We eat lunch together. We eat dinner together.
Yeah.
You understand? And then yeah, you do everything together.
Yeah.
That sense of
Yeah.
community never leaves you. That's why even when our parents when they travel abroad, they look for areas where most people, like for example, I'm going to look where Ghanaian stays mostly. Are they mostly in DC? Are they in New York? Chances are they're going to move to closer to that. Indians do the same thing. In Jersey, I think we have the second or the first largest Indian community.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're right up there because
Yeah.
especially when you go to areas like in Jersey City or Piscataway, New Jersey, they have a whole community there.
Yeah.
That needed because I still speak with a lot of my cousins that I grew up with to this day. I still speak with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my aunties. I still speak with a lot of them. So when you don't grow up when you don't grow up in that when you grow up in that, you feel like you have some kind of sense of responsibility
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to those people. You know, can it be toxic because they can be entitled to you? Yes, but you feel some kind of responsibility to them, and I think
Yeah.
that's needed. You know, and you learn. I honestly think that's the greatest thing my dad ever done for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly
Wow.
believe that's the now other things that other tangible things, yes, of course, but I feel at the time my dad, that's the greatest thing that he done for me.
Love it.
Of course he had his papers, so he would go visit once every year. At the time my mom didn't have her papers, so the whole time I was there I didn't get to see my mom. It wasn't until like maybe 8 years later until
Yeah.
while I was staying there, that's when my mom got her green card and she was able to go there and visit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at that time, I never really felt out of place. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, of course, as a kid, sometimes you miss your mom and things like that. But it was never like that for me. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the things that you learn, for example, you think what we do over here is hard work because we work in 8+, 10+ hours on a screen. Yes, it's mentally taxing your brain. You have to think. But I'm telling you, when you grow up in a village, some of the physical labor that you do, that's is incomparable. So when you grew up doing that as a young kid, honestly, what they do over there as what we were doing as young kids growing up in the States in the West, that's considered child labor. But back home in Africa, in Nigeria, it doesn't work. It's completely
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. Facts.
It's completely normal. But what we were that was normal, like that physical labor. So when you come here, when you see people like the Nigerian, the Ghanaians, or people from other countries, when they are working these 2 or 3 job long hours, and you outside, you're looking at it like, wow, such and such work hard. He doing this and that.
They've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing it for a minute. You know.
To them
Yeah.
to them is pretty normal, and,
Yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
it has I don't like to chalk it up. It has nothing to do with people that are from here. I just think it's how you was raised. That's
Yeah.
all they have to do. If you grew up somewhere in the deep south, you grew up working on a farm for 10+ hours, guess what? They put you in an environment, let's say now you have to work like a white collar job. You're working in Wall Street, that's gonna be like a cakewalk for you because the physical labor in it is mental and physical labor is whichever it's whichever like you're comfortable with, because you have some people, the stuff that we do, they say there's no way I could do that. They prefer, because you have to learn, you have to use your brain a lot, you have to think, you have to solve problem with your brain, not with your physical ability.
Yeah.
So many people, I know plenty of people that say no, they'd rather do something like a physical labor, maybe go into a trade or get into like a CDL license, doing construction. They are doing very well, So it's just a different path for different people. But I think the fundamental principle that you learn from even from you from Ghana, you can apply that anywhere you go.
Of course, of
You
course,
can apply that
of
anywhere you
course.
go. I compare it to almost like sports. This is why I recommend sports to young children. Chances are, listen, your kids is not going to make it to the NBA or the NFL. Let's just get that out of the way, right? Like, listen, I played ball too. I played basketball. I remember I was in school. I wasn't getting no play time. I said, yeah, I'm not gonna be doing this. And I
Yeah,
remember my
yeah,
friends at the time. My friends would say, yeah, you quitting, bro. I said, no, no. At some point, you gotta have realistic. I'm barely getting any playing time over here. I'm not gonna go to professional basketball and play. It's not gonna happen. But what you
yeah,
can do is even the friends that you make while playing sports, some of the friends I still have to this day.
yeah, yeah,
We talk every single day. And the thing that you learn about sports, what it is, it could translate everywhere in your life. Like
yeah,
when you growing up playing sport, coaches don't tolerate being late. You know, you have to work hard or you won't play. You know, you have to compete. You have to be there for your teammates and things like that.
yeah.
You understand? If you want to get if you want to get better, you know what you have to do. You have to work hard.
You gotta hustle. Yeah, work
You
hard.
have to
Yeah,
hustle. All of these things you could translate that in many areas of your life. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
just one area. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love asking about people's upbringings, man, because it shapes who they are now. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
do want to ask you
Yeah.
this question, man. So I know you have mentioned that you used to be how do I say that word?
I don't even know how to say the
Dyslexic?
word too.
Dyslexic. There we go.
Dyslexic.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, and you know, you coming from Gambia to the States, bro, like you struggled a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I know that even high school was a challenge, right? How are you able to overcome those things, bro? Like, because you're speaking perfect English, and that's one of the things that like took me by surprise, bro. When you told me that you
Yeah.
had to relearn English at 15, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like you speak perfect English, right? What was your mindset, bro? Even though people were making fun of you, like you had multiple challenges, bro. How did you like
Yeah.
overcome?
Good question. For me, I never even looked at it as a, I never even, I never sat down and I just know at the time I was
Hmm.
struggling.
Yeah.
What it basically end up turning me to this like quiet person,
Yeah.
which by default that I am today. I don't really say much, especially around people that I don't really know much, even people that I know. So the challenge, how what helped me come over, I really wish I had an answer. It just being around people, you
Yeah.
know. At
Yeah.
the time I was playing sports, you know, that helped me. I didn't really just bury myself in my own in my own like isolated corner.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was hanging out with people. I play sports, and I'm a big TV guy. That's what I do in my
Mm,
off time. Other
mm,
people have their thing, but I watch shows and movies a lot. So
mm,
I would watch those, and a lot of the time I would have the subtitles on.
mm.
So that helps a lot. I didn't know at the time, but it helps a lot. To this day, even when I'm it could be any show. I could be watching it on a plane with the Netflix on my tablet. I would turn the subtitles on.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
it was just that. I wish I would have a like clear answer to it, but I never
Yeah.
really. It just being around people, just talking. You know, I went to the public schools. You're gonna be forced to talk. You
Mm,
understand what I'm saying? And the fact that right after I graduated high school, I went to college too. So I just had and I got over the fear of embarrassment,
yeah.
to
Yeah.
say the
Yeah.
least. I got over
Dope.
that. If I
Dope.
say something that didn't come out the way you're supposed to say in the slangs, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got over the fear. I got over the fear of looking embarrassed. I got a fear of being back. At the time, like not speaking good English at the time, and you being like overly dark skinned.
I get it, bro. I get it.
Yo, it was not easy at all. So
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time, I just have to like yeah, I just got over the fear of embarrassment and started
Yeah.
not to care.
Yeah.
I just basically made up my mind that I'm not gonna care. Whatever
Yeah.
it is, I don't care.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love it. I love it.
you're gonna make fun of me. Okay, cool. So once I adapt that mindset, like just not caring at all, of course we all care about certain things That's just the human being in us. But certain
Yeah.
things you just gotta make a concrete decision. Like I'm not gonna this particular thing, I just don't care about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I love it.
So that I to this day, if we have a like a presentation to do at work, I will volunteer like I want to do it because I'm working on an area to work on my public speaking,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to get into leadership roles and things like that. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
get comfortable with speaking in front of people, speaking clearly. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, I love it,
I'm
man.
using a lot even this interview, I'm using a lot of filler words like, like these are things that I'm trying to break.
Mm, mm.
But I'm
Bro,
aware of it that I'm using a lot of filler words.
I love it though, man. Like, bro, like, cause, like I said, to
Yeah.
see where you've come from, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I, bro, we're speaking English. I can understand everything you're saying. You know what I mean? And so I think it's kind of
Yeah.
cool, bro. But I do want
Yeah.
to ask this question, bro, and I'll let you go here pretty soon, bro. With you in your
Mm.
career, bro, I want you to give me like an overview, bro. I know that you had, obviously all the challenges, you had a lot of
Yeah.
applications in before you even got your yes, And I think you had
Yeah.
mentioned you had multiple offers, right? Bro, like give you had multiple offers, right?
Yeah. I had two offers on the
Two
same
offers.
week when I was,
Okay.
yeah.
Bro, give me like how like do you remember like where you were, how you felt like when you got the call or the email? Like walk me through that, bro.
Yeah. So the first one, I yeah, the first one was through LinkedIn. That's why I don't play when people say, "Oh, you can't find jobs on LinkedIn." I say, I don't know. I think it depends, right? A lot of traffic that I was getting, it was from LinkedIn. So a recruiter from the company reached out directly to me on LinkedIn. They send me the message, how things are, what they're looking for, the job description, So I jumped on it. At the time, I was just doing anything. Anybody, I would jump on a call with you to see what's going on. So I jumped on the call with her. We spoke. She said, "Hey, can you come into the office? Can you come into the office and do the interview?" I say, "Sure." So the place in Bridgewater, New Jersey, which is about 35 to 40 minutes from me. I went to the interview. So I did the interview. I was there for almost 2 hours because I was having interview with different personnel. Then I had to do an interview in front of the manager had to interview me. Then they gave me like a whiteboard that I had to do, just some challenges, some technical challenges. And then after that, I don't know, but something inside of me telling me, yeah, I got this one. When you bomb the interview,
You know it, yeah.
yeah, this one is I'm not gonna get this. But for some reason, I feel like I did well because I prepared for the interviews. I went over the job description and just writing down some things. Okay, they're gonna ask me a question about Kubernetes. They're gonna ask me what's the difference between a pod and a container. How do you spin up a Kubernetes cluster? And these work because it's very container heavy
Yeah.
on the what they were looking for. So I said, okay, I did like a lot of prepping for it, watching some YouTube videos with some hiring managers saying, "Oh, if they ask you a question about something you don't know, how do you answer it? Say you don't know." And I took a mental notes of all of those things. So I went home. The recruiter sent me an email, said that, yeah, I hope the interview went well. I would get back to the folks from the company name and see what they say. And I was waiting, you know. And while I was waiting, it said this government contracting out in DC, right? I applied for that one though. I applied through online, and they want to do an in-person interview. I was in Jersey at that time. I drove all the way to Northern Virginia for that. First when the hiring manager at the time, he was the lead infrastructure engineer over there.
Okay.
So I did the interview with they was gonna sponsor my clearance and everything. First, he appreciated the fact that I drove 4+ hours to come do the interview. So I didn't think it was a big deal. But anyway, I did the interview on the spot, and then I I did some other members from the team. They would interview me, and most of it it was very infrastructure based. So they was asking me questions about Ansible, Terraform. They're on AWS too, so they was asking me things about AWS and things like that, Jenkins, CI/CD pipelines, and all that. So they asked me a lot of questions about this, and I was able to answer them. And I don't, again, I don't know, but something inside of me told me, yeah, you're gonna get this one. I feel very good about it, you know. So that same night, the job that I went to Northern Virginia for, that same night I got to my overnight job, and I look at the my email. That's when they said that they would like to offer me the position. It's like a relief that just left my shoulders. I said, oh.
Yeah.
And this is something that I wanted all the way. Like, especially I visualize about this. This is something that I worked so hard for.
Yeah.
And I said, oh. So I didn't respond right away because my friend Mike, same guy, I told him, I said, hey, I just got a job offer, and you know, he said, congratulations. I said, yeah, I had another interview with another company. I think I did well too. I have a good feeling about it. What should I do? He said, actually, send an email back to them and tell them to give you a few more days to look over it. And that's exactly what I did. And then the engineer would say, yeah. He said, perfect. Yeah, take your time. If you need anything, just let me know. So while I was waiting, the telecom company where I did the interview at, they also sent me an offer. So that's two offers in like in a span of 5 days. And actually, to be honest, I cried a little bit. I said, wow, this is. Yeah, because it's just the time, the journey, you know, all the way from I'm going to school for study something to be that I work for the background investigation that I wasn't enjoying it, doing all these cybersecurity, software development training that I couldn't stick with, but this one I decided to stick with it, doing all the learning, all the ups and downs, the interview preps, and not getting the job, getting disappointed, but it just. With all of that going around, this way, it was just like a great feeling. So at the time, I just basically had to see which one that I feel like was the best option. And I didn't wait long, to be honest. I didn't wait long. At the time, I went with where I feel like was best for me, what my gut instincts were telling me.
Yeah.
So I just, that's basically what it is. And I've been, some of my cousins who are trying to break into the industry, and I tell them, I say, you only need one yes. Just keep going. If you bomb the interview, just learn from it. Just continue to learn, refine your skills. And one of the hack that I know from, because a lot of learning platforms, some of them, I don't know how accurate it is about their learning path. What I used to do, I'll go on Indeed or LinkedIn, right, or Dice. I will open the job that I want, around the salary range that I want. I will filter the job search by the job title and the salary range, and I will read the job description and responsibilities and the requirements.
Yeah.
So if I look at 4 or 5 different jobs, and their requirements and the responsibilities are similar, I'll write those down. Okay. That gives me enough sample size to say, okay, most likely in this position, this is the skills that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll go and train those, and then like trying to build like a small project around those, and put it on the resume, and practice. Make sure if they ask me a question about this, I can answer it thoroughly. So this is like, even to this day, I still do this to this day, because let's say you read an article. Or if you say skills that you need to become a SOC analyst.
Yeah.
It will give you like some of the most generic things that you need to do step by step. But sometimes when you go to the job descriptions, you reading about your job description, responsibilities and things that they're looking for, I feel like that's very, very, very more helpful, because you learning skills directly into about that particular job. You know. Because some now that I feel a little bit more confidence and competent in my line of work, If it's a recruiter reach out to me for a job that they feel like I'm a good fit for, I read the job description.
Mm.
If it's a requirement or responsibility that's something that they really, really look for, I basically say, okay, let me brush up, let me see what I can learn about this real quick.
Yeah,
Once I
yeah,
get the essential concepts about it, then I'll try to build like a small mini project to play around with. So now I understand the concept.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now it's in the matter of working to become super good at this. And you can learn this by breaking down your learning patterns about one particular thing. Just learn small, stack them small by small, and then eventually you'll get there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Bro, I love it. I love it, man.
yeah,
Hey, I love your journey, bro, and I love like the fact that you're coming from Gambia,
yeah,
had to relearn everything, and still push
yeah,
through, bro, and are killing
yeah.
it, bro. I
Thank you.
really hope, and I really, of course, man, I really hope and I wish that like somebody from Gambia, somebody from Africa, somebody from a place where they feel like, okay, man, like how am I gonna make it? I wish that they find this episode some way somehow. You know what I mean?
Somehow,
And
yeah. I hope
they
so
they
too.
see, yeah, they see that, man, like if a brother has done it, they can too. You know what I mean? Yo,
Yeah,
like where can people find you, bro? Social media handles, man, if they want to like connect with you, bro. Like where can people find you, bro?
yeah. So my LinkedIn is my first name is Haji, and my first name Haji Dukure. It's spelled as Haji, and my last name is Dukureh.
Perfect, perfect, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, man, thanks for jump on the podcast, bro. Hope y'all
No,
got some
thank you for
gems from
having me.
here. Of course, man. Hope y'all got
Thank
some
you.
gems from here. Hope you guys
Most definitely.
like were inspired, And so yeah, we out, y'all. Peace.
Thank you, man. Peace.
All right,
Appreciate you,
brother.
man.